That is right. That is the sound of the keyboards ticky-tacky typing away for everybody that is excited for this new year. It is 2025 in January. Welcome, everyone, to the Power Platform Community Call for January 2025. My name is David Warner. I'll be your host today with Quizzitive, and I am excited for what we have in store. So let's take a look at that. On our agenda, we're going to talk about a whole bunch of community resources and samples. We got a plethora, because it means a lot to us, right? News and events. We're going to have our group picture time with Together mode, so get those fantastic faces ready. And then we're going to have three, maybe two amazing demos. The third, I don't know, that guy's a little questionable. But the first is going to be Shiv, how to create modern people picker in Power Apps. So that's going to be really, really cool. We're excited to check that out. And then Syed is back, and they're both troopers here, everybody. It's 9 a.m. and midnight for them. So how about some rock stars there? Really, really love the effort they're putting in. Syed's going to talk about how to create an intelligent invoice extraction flow with AI Builder. And then I'll round it out today using Power App component libraries for custom modern themes. So we'll talk about the status of modern themes and how you can make them reusable within component libraries. A lot of cool stuff. But first, let's talk about those resources I promised you. We've got our Microsoft Community Learning YouTube channel. This is a plethora. Again, I keep saying that, man. I'm really liking it today. A plethora of videos. Sometimes 2 a day are our output there. Why? Because we want to learn, and we know that everybody wants to share. And this is an opportunity for us all to do that within the community. So check that out. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. It is absolutely and super, super valuable. You can get alerted. These calls go on it, so it's there and available for you. We've got our LinkedIn page and group for discussion, so you can collaborate with other members of the community there. We've got our open source tooling and projects, and then of course we've got a ton of sample galleries spanning the spectrum of technology, team samples, SPFX samples, Power Platform list formatting. The list goes on and on and on. So definitely check it out. You only need to remember one URL, ak.ms/community/home or community.ms. Put that directly into your browser, and that'll take you to our community landing page, community.ms. We'll do that. So we're excited to start using that more here. Now, as you're watching today, if you think to yourself, you know what, I can present what they're presenting. That David guy, he's no good. I can present better than you're right. You absolutely can. And we welcome each and every single one of you to do that. So please don't hesitate to fill out this form, ak.ms/community/request/demo. Promise it's not a slash film. We'll take care of you. Just fill in the form, let us know you want to present, and we will ensure you get scheduled. And if you want to buddy up with someone, that's okay too. We are here to support you and help out. So just fill it in, let us know. Okay, let's talk about some samples and badges. And for that first part of samples, let's invite April Dunham.
Thanks, David. So we have a lot of sample snippets and prompts this month to highlight. So we have from Anish, a utility flow actually uses a child flow where you can extract a number by a length. So that's in our samples repo. Over in our snippet repo, we have a great sample, which is a Power Apps YAML snippet from Ilian, which is a progress bar that shows you how to implement that inside of your Power Apps Canvas apps. And finally, on the prompt side, we have an employee work log management prompt that lets you build a multi-table Canvas application for employee work log management by Submit. So thank everyone for your samples. Really appreciate it. We have a ton more samples at aka.ms/Power Platform-samples, and we would love to see your contributions. I hear you can win some badges and stuff with that.
I think you're right. Absolutely. Awesome. I am super, super excited for that. Okay, so if you're wondering, hey, how do I get my samples out there? Well, our Sharing is Caring program is here, and it is back for 2025, and it is alive and well. We are going to be scheduling this new session soon, and we're going to be adding new other sessions topics as well. Maybe something like, hey, how to get involved with component libraries or other opportunities to use the technology, because sometimes you got to know the technology before you can contribute. We get that. But these sessions are live. We're going to work together on learning a topic. The first one, of course, will be how to contribute via GitHub. What is a pull request? What is a commit? All those things we're going to identify together, and then you're going to submit it. And guess what? It's a safe space, which means that it's not recorded, so you can ask any and all questions without the fear of thinking, should I already know this? Is it going to go on record that I'm asking it? And everybody already knows it. Don't worry, we're all learning together. So it's a safe space to ask questions and learn together. Keep an eye out. We'll put out on all the socials when we get it scheduled. Appreciate your patience and looking forward to it. And then what you do contribute, again, Natalie's super excited. Badges, badgers, they're all available for 2025. We're still working through all those 2024 badges, so if you haven't gotten them yet, sit tight, don't worry. A lot of folks were on vacation vacation. So as they're coming back from vacation, things are getting processed, and we're going to make sure those get tracked and those badges go out. The year has gone, but don't worry, your recognition has not. So we appreciate everything that you're doing. We do need you to opt in, though, ak.ms/community/recognition, and you only need to do that once, not every year. Don't worry about doing it every year, just once, unless you change things like your GitHub ID. Let us know when that happens. But other than that, we'll track you forever. You'll always get badges. Let's talk about some community and events and shows. So the first one I'm super excited about, I'm going to kick it back to April to talk about this new Powerful Devs coming up in February.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this, everyone, and for you to take part in the Powerful Devs. It's a conference, a one-day free conference, and followed by a hackathon, a hack together that is 2 weeks long. So we're going to kick off with a conference on February 12th. We're going to have a lot of great community speakers and Microsoft speakers. Scott Duro, Kendra Springer are going to be hosting that, and we'll have a lot of great sessions for you to learn from. And then once you learn all about the Power Platform and how you can extend that, you'll have the chance to hack and win some great prizes, over $550 actually in cash prizes that you can win as a team for that, building powerful solutions on top of the Power Platform. So we have all the information you need to be able to get started on aka.ms/powerful devs. We have a Power Pages site with all the info there where you can see how to register to get started, register for the conference and the hackathon. And we are really looking forward to seeing your submissions for what you can build with the Power Platform and all of the integrations that it offers. So hope you can join and check out that link.
Woo! Can't wait to power up. So, yep. All right. Now, what else do we got going on in the community? Again, we use a lot of technology, don't we, folks, now in this Power Platform, but we all likely do other things in our day. So the SharePoint and Aviva Connections Global Hackathon is coming up in March, so be on the lookout for that. Super excited. No doubt we all have interest in various areas of not only Power Platform, but Microsoft 365. We are superheroes that use all kinds of utilities, and so we want to showcase what we can do. So be on the lookout for that. We've got the Microsoft 365 Community Conference coming up, which always has a Power Platform track. So we're looking forward to that. That's coming up in May in Las Vegas. We've got ESPC coming up at the end of May, so definitely check that out. It's kind of a hat trick, if you will, or ECS, I should say. Apologies. ECS coming up is a hat trick of sessions. So you got the European Collaboration Summit, European AI and Cloud Summit, and the BizApp Summit. So you can score that hat trick by attending. I know a number of members of the community will be there. April will be there. I will be there, as well as Hugo and Vesa, and so excited to see everybody. We've got the TechCon conferences coming up in June and August and November, so check that out. We've also got the Power Platform Conference. Everybody's excited about that, coming up in October. We've got ESPC, I'm right this time, coming up in December, so check that out. Man, so many amazing conferences coming back. We're so excited, and I would not be a good person if I didn't mention all the amazing community level events that are going on. So check these out, folks. If they are in your region or you're looking for a cool place to travel, go check them out. I put all those links in the chat for you. You can see them all at ak.ms/community days. There's a lot of hard work that goes into putting these on, and they are wonderful to support. So if there's an area that you want to go, I know M365 Miami, a number of us will be at here in just a few weeks. Who doesn't love a little sunny days in the middle of winter? So check it out. A number of amazing other sessions. Please support the community in this way. All right, how about the news desk? That's right, the more you know. So Shane couldn't be here today. He's training, but he did want us to say his notes from the field are keep on learning, never stop learning. Hey, did I mention learning? He said that he saw some of those learning videos have gone down in the late months of December because everyone's on vacation, which he understands. But he said, hey, everybody come back strong, keep on learning, check out the videos, learn together. The technology is moving fast, and we want to be up to date on it. So thank you, Shane. Now, back to April again for some news.
Yes, speaking of learning, we got some resources and news for you to learn more. So Copilot Chat extensibility is now available in model-driven apps. What does this mean? Well, you have that little Copilot button that you can click to launch the Copilot in your model-driven apps. Now you can customize that with Copilot Studio to add additional knowledge sources and even additional customization to the output, like with adaptive cards. So this is really extending the capability of what you can do with Copilot Chat inside of your model-driven apps. Speaking of Power Apps, we also have the ability now to work with existing tables in the data workspace. This is one of the top requested things that I've heard when it comes to working with Copilot in the data workspace as well. I want to be able to reference some existing tables that I have and bring those into my entity relationship diagram. You can do that now with this new update, so definitely check that out. We also have some new maker and admin deployment pages, which make it much easier to be able to, as a maker, see all of the active deployments you have, and as an admin to be able to provide that streamlined experience to see about the setup and the operation, to be able to manage your ALM and troubleshoot failures and all of that. So that is brand new, just went out yesterday. And then also we had a Copilot Studio series about the basics of building with Copilot Studio, and we have a blog out there on the developer blog that walks you through everything that you learned in the building the basics and the videos that you can reference on the Power Platform YouTube channel. So definitely check all that out and keep learning.
Excellent. Thank you, April. Well, what time is it? It is picture time. So I've got together mode turned on my camera. So if you all want to turn yours on, we can start up the recorder. We'll get that doing. There we go. Move that over. Move that here. Turn off audio. Move you over. All right. All these movements of things. Looking great to see everybody. Wonderful. Couple more seconds. You're doing good on time. If you'd like to turn your camera on, we can capture your wonderful smile. Oh, I see a youngster there. James is bringing them in young. He's starting them, teaching them. All right. I'm sure he or she has already published their first app. No doubt, right? I'm sure. Yeah. Okay. All right. All right, seeing some more. Excellent. I love it. Seeing everybody. Looks great. Okay. Well, let's 3, 2, 1. Wave to the community, everybody. Looking great to see you all. Thank you all for being so amazing and being here. Great to see everybody. Again, wonderful work that you're all doing in the community. We love you and appreciate everything you're doing. And thank you for showing up here on these calls and contributing. All right, let's get back to our regularly scheduled program. And for that, we are going to kick off our first demo with Shiv, and it's going to be on the topic, how to create a modern people picker in Power Apps. So Shiv, if you'd like to take on over the screen share, it is all yours.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, good morning and good evening, everyone. Welcome for today's demo. So today we will explore how to create modern people picker in Power Apps. My name is Shiv. I am excited to present this session to you today. Before we deep dive into demo, let me introduce myself. My name is Shiv. I'm a.
Hey Shiv, can you just throw that into presentation mode for it? It's just better for the recording for us there. Yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah, sure. So I'm a Microsoft 365 Power Platform and SharePoint specialist with expertise in Azure, SPFX, REST API, integrations, React.js, AI, and much more. I'm also like to write blogs, author, and I'm a speaker too. And my passion is for share technology innovations with my community. So let's quickly start. In this today demo, we will explore how to make a modern people picker control in Power Apps, which is very efficient. This is the agenda for today. We will explore this overview and features, and lastly, we will cover the live demo for the same. Yeah. So in this today demo, we will explore how to create an intuitive and efficient Power Picker experience, and you will clearly understand how to integrate this control in your app to select people from your AD, you can say Office App user directory, and you can directly submit them to your SharePoint list using this modern control. So the major features of this is like this is a versatile control that allow us to select user easily. It can be create a normal people picker, but as a by default. But using this experience, you can make it extensive throughout your organizations, and it will integrate with your SharePoint list, and you can use that person into columns in this particular modern display, modern people picker. In this demo, we will cover in one of the use cases which we had covered in the last call as well, that is Speaker Hub platform, where we can organize to manage the list of speakers and track their data. And you can say that we can manage all the fields. And like in the previous video, as we cover already how to manage bulk data and how we can export data in PDF form and how can we make an editable grid as well. So in this today, I have added the new page that is named as new speaker page, where we can add the new speaker data. And using this modern combo box in the form control, we can search and select the speakers from the a Microsoft Enter ID, and we can submit within this existing, you can say, modern form from SharePoint list. And one more important thing here, we can leverage Microsoft Enter ID. That is using default control. We cannot use delegable function, but yes, using this control, you can use delegable function as well. Let me quickly showcase you the demo so that you can understand better. So this is the page where we have all the data of all the speakers. We can see all the details here. We are having like speakers' names, their role description, their total number of recognitions and total events, and what kind of speaker they are. Like they are team speaker or they are general speaker, or and their approval history as well, and whether they are approved or they are rejected or they are under process. So all these we are maintaining from this SharePoint list. Let me show you that list. This is speaker name, and then these are total recognitions, and these are the speaker type. This is a choice column, and number of speaking event they did till now. That is number type column, and similarly this is speaker status. So this is also like choice column. So you can maintain the respective status as well. And this is like their allowed type. This is also like internal, external, or vice versa. And this is also choice column. And for the approval history, we had made a person group column, allow multiple true. Similarly, the approval history comments, so you can see managed by this column. And the reason and the speaker first name, is a speaker active or not. So yeah, we have maintained yes no type column in the backend, and the last speaker full name. So these are columns we are maintaining in the backend. Let me show you the page. Yeah, so this is our this is the page where we are leveraging that modern people picker. You can see this is a field where we are leveraging that control. This is a modern form with a modern screen, contains modern header with modern form control. We can select any user. Once you will select the user, you can see his user profile photo. So this is all coming from your Office 365 connector. So this is dynamic in nature. As if you are using combo box using that old traditional way, so you cannot get this kind of rich modern experience where you can leverage the users from their Office 365 user directory instead of SharePoint list and person group column. So this is a very rich experience. You can see it's like dynamic in nature, and it's dynamic. All the details are coming from the that control, and you can even search them. So you can search them, and you can see the list as well. Let me showcase you the code as well. Let me zoom in. So this is the card named as speaker name. So here first I made a new screen named as header and form. So this is a modern screen, and you can leverage that for making a responsive and fully tablet view or mobile view as well. Sorry. Here by default we get the form control, and I put the database as a SharePoint list here. And let me show you the form control. This is a form container, and this is the add new speaker form. And in the data source, you can see this is my data source, and you can add the field here. So when you get that particular card, person group column, let me show you directly here. In this particular update, first each and every SharePoint card having update property. So uh, we need to put like if that particular user is selected, or if not blank, then it comes from claims, that is user dot selected mail, and that display name comes like that data card value dot selected dot display name, and in email similarly selected dot email, and in claims that data card value your data card name dot selected dot mail. So if we are updating that particular value, so uh, we have to change this property. Similarly, inside this data card, first of all, as I put this search icon, so you can put as per your requirement what icon you want to put, and then you can uh, push this placeholder. If you want to update it, you can use this property, and using in, because by default default select item is put at default dot selected default dot parent, but we need to update it like this, 65 users dot search user v2. So this is a refined version, so you can use this. And here we are using this item dot field name, as we want whatever we search, it will search in search terms, and the respective property email, because that is unique and it will return only one value, and top one, because we don't want to be get more items, and dot value, this return in data in tabular form. One more important property, that is items. Similarly, here we have to leverage Office 365 user directory, search user version 2, and similarly self dot search vector, whatever we will type, it will use in search terms, and we are making search terms required false and top 999. So this, I think this is a sufficient number. You can find your record in 999 items. And similarly, dot value, it will return your data in your tabular form, and you can use it. And most important, this trigger output. So there are three kind of triggering options we have, that is delayed, focus out, or key press. So if you want to get the results in key press, so that will impact your performance. So delayed is a good one, so that you can utilize the performance as well. So once you will enter the that person name and the further details, that is, let me quickly show you, just any number and any job description. The job description is the speaker is a guest or internal. We select internal. He is active and he did number of events 7, and the status is under process. And let's say it's a general speaker and total is 5. So here on the submit button, let me show you first, and we will submit the record. Here we have using submit form and your form name, then reset form, then your form name, and then refresh your database, so that once you will redirect to your home page, it will refresh your database, and then navigate your main screen, whatever you want to redirect. So this is the formula for submitting this particular form data. Let me show you that. When you place submit, it will submit your data, and your home page will navigate it. You can see the newly submit data where this is under process. So once it will trigger the flow, all the details will come up. So even we can put on change event on this particular page, that is, let me zoom in, zoom out. So whenever you are selected, you can also put, like, when you click on change event, you can autofill these other detail too. So depending on your requirement, because here I am just using as a new speaker page, so I do not need to auto populate the details, because this is this is like a master page. So this is how this particular app works, and using this customization, using these customizations, you can leverage this modern combo box into efficient people picker with integrate with your SharePoint list and Office 365 users. And you can unlock the properties and update the search functionalities, handle default selections, and format the data for submissions. So I will encourage all of you to try it. It's like very simple but very useful and very effective. It will enhance the user experience while working with the person type columns in SharePoint and Office 365 data sources. Thank you.
Awesome stuff, Shiv. Very, very cool. Love how you connected the dots here. And for those that are maybe looking for that video he's referring to, we'll get that included in the show notes because he had done a demo on a previous call. So we can connect those dots for you. Thank you so much, Shiv. Excellent job. All right, Syed, you are up next. How to create an intelligent invoice extraction flow with AI Builder. Feel free to take on over the screen and take it away. All right, are you muted?
Hello, hello.
There we go. Perfect.
I'm audible?
Yep, I can hear you now.
Hello, good morning and good evening, everyone. This is Syed Hasan. Today I'm going to show how the demo on how to create an intelligent invoice extraction flow with AI Builder with Power Automate. Okay, let's start. Before I start the demo, a bit about me. Born in Bangladesh, but residing in Malaysia for the first decade. Holding degree in software engineering. By the way, journey I have begun with as a SharePoint developer and has evolved my focus on Power Platform development, specializing in Power Apps and Power Automate. And side by side, I also share my knowledge creating tutorial videos to guide and inspire others like those who are coming from business background and to become a Power Platform developers. The name of my flow is InWeb, so a little bit introduction is like it's an intelligent Power Automate cloud flow. It streamlines vendor invoice management by saving invoice details and together with the sender's name and the photo to the organization's SharePoint list, and also saving the PDF to OneDrive Business. And together it's also sending the invoice details emails to the manager with the PDF, and also to the product management team via Teams channel. Okay, so the features of the InWeb is automated data storage, saves extracted invoice details directly to the SharePoint list and eliminating the manual data entry and ensuring accurate record keeping. And also one of the features is sending email notification to managers with the full details of the invoice together with the PDF, and then the real-time team updates, share the invoice details with the product management team via Microsoft Teams channels, and also the end-to-end workflow automation. Simplifies the entire invoice handling process and from data capture to communication, saving time and reducing manual intervention. Okay, so how it works, it shows time. Okay. So basically this is the flow. It's a manually trigger flow. So when the user upload the PDF of the invoice, it extracts the information from the invoice and then add item as an item on a SharePoint list. So this is my SharePoint list where I'm going to saving the details of the invoice, and then I'm also creating the file on my OneDrive for business. And then I'm creating HTML table. It will help me to send the invoice details as an email. And then I'm getting the profile from my M365 profile and also together with the photo. And lastly, I'm sending the email with the invoice data, invoice total, all the invoice details with the sender name and job title together with the posting a card to the Teams channel. So here's the JSON code. I just customized it and sending the invoice details together with the display name and the photo. Okay, let's go test the flow. Okay, I'm testing it manually. Okay, now I'm uploading the invoice, running the flow. Okay, taking a bit. Okay. Okay, once it's almost done with the extraction information. Okay, I'm done with the flow and it ran successfully. Okay, let's see how it works. Now, the invoice details to the manager inbox. Okay, this is the receipt, as a PDF, and this is the email, and sending all the invoice total with date, and also extracting all the description of the invoice with order date, vendor name, customer address, saving the details on our SharePoint list. Okay, and then also saving the PDF to our OneDrive together with sending to the product management team channel the adaptive card with the sender's photos, name, and a brief description of our invoice. Okay, so that's all from me. So this is how the the overall workflow is working. So thank you. That's all from me, and thank you everyone.
Awesome, Syed. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, there's a lot of packed in there, so we can look to learn a little bit more about that as we glean into that and how you navigated the flow within how all that's working. So thank you for sharing that. That's excellent stuff. Okay, well, let me share out my screen for this last guy. Who is that guy? Oh my goodness. All right, so what are we going to talk about today? We are going to talk about Power Apps component libraries for modern themes, everybody. So what is this all about? What can we do with it? All kinds of goodness we're going to learn about today. All right, so who is this guy? I'm David Warner. I'm your host. I have a blog, and I'm an MVP and a Microsoft certified trainer, work for Quizzitive, and I love the community. So if you got things that you want to talk about with me around this or anything else, please don't hesitate to reach out. We love to collaborate with everybody in the community and support you. And if you want to do something together or present together or something like that, let's do it. All right, what is our agenda for today? So we're going to have the Star Wars theme continued. And in my last video, which was on the call a few weeks ago, and I'm going to put that link in the chat. We'll include it in the show notes as well. Don't check it out now. Stay tuned. You can check it out later. We went over component libraries. And so we're going to have another review of component libraries. We're going to talk about how it can connect to Power Apps Modern Themes and the overview of where we are right now with the modern themes status and state of the world and all that. And then you're going to see a use case of a global theme, how we can take advantage of that global theme and all that stuff. And then we're also going to take a look at some future opportunities for component libraries and components where we can kind of level up from Padawan to Jedi Master. All right, so the first thing that we want to talk about is what is a component library? Well, it is a Power App really. It's a solution that you can go in and add components to, controls to. You can add dynamic properties to, and we're going to see that. You can add content and functionality and all kinds of cool stuff. And the point of it is it works as a centralized repository, right? So it enables you to maintain consistency. And when you publish updates, any app that uses the components within that component library, and you can have many, we'll see an example of that, will be able to be updated. They'll be notified when a change occurs. And then that way you can have these centralized, take care, manage things in one place and deploy it in many places, right? So you don't have to have things sprawled across multiple apps and then say, oh man, a change came down from branding and marketing and I got to go change it in a plethora of places. No, you change it in one place. Everybody gets notified that it's been updated. And then they can make the choice if they want to accept those changes. All right, so now then, what about modern themes? Well, these new modern themes, they do a few things, right? They're going to be providing unified app design. You've got customizable colors. We'll see an exact example of that today. So you can choose fonts. They support modern controls. You've got accessibility. And most of all, consistent user experience, right? And that's where combining it with a component within a component library becomes so powerful. And we'll see an example of that today. All right. So what is our use case? Okay. Well, our use case is we're going to have a simple About Us screen, but within that About Us screen, which is what I showed off in the last video. And again, I'll recover all of that for you here in a moment. But if you want to watch that last video, check it out. It provides consistency across apps, right? So by including a theme within this pre-existing component library that we already have, we are able to now feed that out to people that are already using that component in the component library. And so it reduces design discrepancies. I know brands can be very, very persnickety about the exact hex colors and all of those things, because it does make a difference in the recognizability of the organization and the company. So you want that sharing of the unified theme, you want that reduction in design discrepancies. And then for you as an app builder, it saves time, right? So when you get that message down and they say, oh, hey, I know we've got like 75 apps and we need to go change the colors on them. Well, you only need to update them once. Doesn't mean that you can't tell them you got to update 75 and then say, well, it's going to take 5 hours and then go to lunch. No, don't tell them I said that. But you can update the theme once, and then that eliminates the repetitive design edits across multiple apps, right? So they will need to update them within the app. You will need to do that, and we'll see exactly what that looks like. So without any further ado, let's dive into an exact example, right? So let me set the stage. What I've got here is a simple app. We only have one little screen here. We've got a couple of buttons down here. I've got a modern button and a classic button, because there is some discrepancies between how the theme works within modern button and classic button. So I just want to highlight one of those properties specifically, and you can dive into a little bit more about them later. But we've got a simple app here. I've just got a couple of buttons. I've got that About Us screen here. Now this is coming from a component library, and so we'll take a look at that in a moment. And then I've got another screen here that outputs my modern theme info, right? So we'll revisit this in a moment, but essentially what I'm doing is each theme has JSON behind it that identifies all these values, right? And we'll see what these mean in a moment. We'll talk about it. But I am outputting that information for us to benefit from within this app. Okay, so let me go back to my home screen. Now, first things first, you got to make sure that you're consuming the modern themes and controls, right? So to do that, you go down to the settings, you come over to updates, and you got to make sure you turn it on. It's not on by default, so you got to turn it on right there. Now, I've already turned it on for purposes of the demo and all that stuff. Okay, so I've got it turned on. So once you have it turned on, they are changing the UI a little bit. Themes used to show up here as an actual icon here on the left. Now it shows up under the ellipsis. So if things get moved around, don't get unsettled. It'll be there somewhere for you. And when I come into themes, we see I've got a number of themes that are pre-available. Now, some of these up top, these 4, don't pay any attention to those yet. Don't pay attention to the wizard behind the curtain. We are going to talk about those in a moment. But these Power Apps and Teams and SharePoint and Steel and all of these are out of the box. And if I click on them, then you see my buttons change, right? So if I go from Power Apps here being blue down to orange, these change colors. And if I hold down Alt and hover over them, you can see that there's some degree of change that happens on that particular button for me, right? And a little bit, I don't know, less on the modern button. We'll talk about that in a moment. But then you can also add your own theme. Okay, so when you add your own theme, you can choose a primary color. So if I do this, of course, I got to go with purple, right? Come on, purple or orange. All right, so I start there. I can give it a theme name. And I've got a font choice. I've got some other properties here that I won't go into details on, but affect the UI and the feeling. And then I've got these multiple palettes here, choices within my palette. So it by default sets the primary color. That's what you're setting right up here. And then you've got from darker 70 down to darker 10 and lighter 10 down to lighter 80. Now this interface here is fairly new because I remember talking about before where you can only set the primary color and then it would force you on these, right? It would force those. Now you're able to identify each individual one. So I can also see a preview, right? So I can see a preview here. But if I wanted to say, well, you know what? I want a primary color and then I want to create a 2-tone color, right? Maybe I want a 2 or a 3-tone color palette. So I can do that. I can click on the individual slot and then I can say, okay, I'm going to change this to orange and I'm going to make that a little brighter. And now what happens is there's one thing that identifies for us, right? So we can see a little black dot there. So that is an identifier that we have customized that. We made a change. And if I want to reset it, I can. I just come back here. I've got the reset button. I'm not going to do that now, but I'm able to do that, right? And then watch what happens is you'll notice things are changing colors down here. That's pretty slick, right? I think that's pretty slick. So I like these 2-tone colors. Maybe even you could get a 3-tone or you could play around with it. If you wanted to set a different color and make it a Skittles theme, you could. I don't know how many brand people are going to love you for that, but you could do that, right? So take advantage, play around with it, and you can see the different effects. Now, what I also like is that when I do hover over this, I get a little explanation. That's pretty cool. Thank you, Microsoft. That's really, really cool. Press states, active borders, background hover, focus effects, right? So that's why I know when I change that color, I'm going to get some hover effects down here on my primary things, right? Okay, I'm gonna not create that. I'm gonna cancel because I've already got one created. I've got a two-tone effect. I've got some single colors here that I've created. So I've got a Warner Digital purple and a Warner Digital orange, right? Of course, I've got to go with my brand themes and all that. And that's just creating the spectrum. And it's using that single color to create that spectrum. But then I also created a two-tone theme here, so I've identified within my darker, which is used for things like hover states, secondary action text, and all that. And when I scroll down here, we can see that changing color when I turn things on and off and hover over them, right? The tabs and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. Now, what I want to highlight, though, is that your mileage may vary, right? So there's not full feature parity between modern controls and classic controls. And what do I mean by that? Well, I mean that when I put this into hold down Alt as if I'm emulating the play, and I hover over my classic button, that's cool, right? That's exactly what I expect. I hover over it, I get orange, I get purple when I'm not, so that's super cool. When I hover over the modern button, I just get a darker version of purple, right? And so you got to be a little aware. Things are not feature parodied yet on that. So just your mileage may vary. You got to test it out, even though you think it should do that. Well, and in what cases can we control that, right? So where can we control that? Well, when we go to talking about this app, its functionality lives somewhere specific. The modern theme, I should say, the modern theme, it lives somewhere specific. So when I click on app right here in my tree view, and then I go to the properties, there is a theme property that I can connect to. So I go to that theme property, and you'll see if I go back to themes, WD2 color, right? So that was the name of my theme, my custom theme. So it's just changing the name there. If I go to Warner Digital Purple, it's just changing the name there. So if this is a property, then obviously we can connect into that property and maybe access its values, right, and control it. Yes, that's exactly what we can do. So that's where I've got my modern theme info. I've got a text box here, and thank you, April, for we worked together on figuring some of this stuff out. That is the actual app. We can reference that app object and then the theme property in a number of ways, and we'll talk about that in a moment, but it's able for me to output this content. So I'm able to see the exact property structure, JSON. I see my font there. I see my name there. I see all of my colors, right? All that stuff is being controlled by the app object and the theme property. So that's what I'm using to output that. And when I look at the classic button and I look at, for example, hover fill, then we see that is also by default accessing that app object and theme. And that's why we're able to see, okay, I can identify exactly what color it's using on its hover. And that's why it's going over to that orange. Darker 10 I had set as orange as my color. When I come in here and I go to edit and I look at darker 10, we see that that is the color that I've got. So I can control that. That hover property doesn't exist on the modern button, right? Or other similar properties don't exist for us to control. But it does on the classic buttons, control out of the box. And again, there is some value there. So, okay, so we've set the context on modern themes, the new features, the benefits, but here's the challenge. It is scoped only to the app, right? So I create these things, great, they're wonderful, I love them, but guess what? I create a new app, I'm gonna have to create again that particular theme. And I will say that I can come in here and I could do it inside of a variable if I wanted to, because I could simply just capture the property here, and I can throw that in a variable, make it a little easier than having to point and click and recreate it by hand each and every single time. But there is a better way. There is a better way, and that is our component library. So right now, if I go into my insert, I've already got that about us, right? So I've got this Jedi Council component library about us. This information in this screen is coming to me from a component library. And that's right over here. So here's my component library. I've got this about us. We've got this information. I've already got some custom properties, right? So we've got app name and app version and known issues. Those are things that can be populated by the app. Global updates I can force out. But guess what? A component library can have multiple components. So how are we going to use it? Well, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to select new component. And it's going to change or give me the name. I'm just going to say theme engine. Let's call it theme engine. And now I don't need to add anything to the screen. There's nothing visible that I need about this particular component. What I do need is I need properties, and I need to be able to put that property. If I go back to my theme info, I need to be able to put this information into a parameter of the component that will get fed into my app. So let's do that. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to create a new custom property. And I'm just going to call this WD2 tone. And I'll leave that. That's fine. Input, it's going to be an output because it is outputting from the component into my app. And for type, for data type, I'm going to select record because we know that it's a JSON, right? We know it's JSON, so we know it's a record, and we can access that, right? So I'm going to say create. And now when I click on that, it's going to give me access to the actual property, right? So it gives me the actual property, and it gives me a sample string here. Just expand that of JSON, right? So cool, excellent. So that means that I can come in and I can take the JSON. I've just copied this into my clipboard to make it quicker for time and all that. But you could pull it out of your app, copy and paste it, clean it up, and I'm going to format text so we get rid of those blank spaces. And what I'm doing is I'm just a structured JSON of exactly what we've got over here, right? So we got that darker 10, darker 20, etc. Same thing going on here. Now we've had to apply a little bit of extra expressions and functions here to make it a color value so it understands exactly what's going on. Again, thank you, April. We worked through this together. But I'm including all this stuff here that is available, right? So lighter or darker to 70, 10 to blah, 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 and primary, and adding the font. And the name, that's the name that gets applied. Now, that's not the name we're going to use within our app. We're going to actually use the name of our component and the component property. Okay, so now that I've got this additional component added, I am going to save it, and then I am going to publish it. Right, so I'm going to publish, and I'm just saying publish this version. What I'm publishing now is the theme engine, part of the component library, and again, not real indicative that I've done that, so I've just got the button back again, so I know it's done. So now if I were to close this app, I'm back in my app. If I were to close this app and reopen it, it would tell me, hey, there's an update. There's been an update to the component you're using. Would you like to import it? But if you know there's already been an update, you can come to your insert panel and you can hit the little refresh recycle icon here. We see it says check for component library updates. So I'm going to do that, and bam, there it goes. Tells me, hey, there's been an update. Excellent. Okay, cool. So I'm going to hit update, loading. Great. Selected components were successfully imported. Okay, cool. But I don't see it down here, right? I see library components. I don't see it. What's going on? You still, because we added another component, right? I still need to import the actual component. So I updated the component library, which gives me access to the theme engine component, which I just created. So I'm going to say, yeah, I'm going to check it and click import. And now you see, okay, cool. Now my theme engine is showing up. Got it? Okay, cool. So how do we use it then? How do we use it? Well, first we need to add it to our app. Right, so you might have a screen that you use for loading global parameters or global variables or just whatever. I'm just going to add it to the home screen. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to say insert library components theme engine. And that shows up right there, right? And so now, again, there's nothing that is visible on that. So it just kind of sits merrily in the background. There's really nothing about that theme engine that is visible on the screen. It's just carrying the data that I need. So now what can I do? I come over to app and I come over to theme right here, and I can go theme engine dot, and look what I have access to. Theme engine 1, WD2 tone, right? And now before I've done that, look what happened. Down here, my buttons got kind of wonky, right? Because I don't have a theme actually being applied. This is like an error right now. So it's like, I don't know what color you want. But as soon as I finish this out, WD two-tone, right? We see that data type record. That's how I knew the output parameter needed to be a record. Cool. I see that. And now that's being treated, if I put it into play, right, like a theme. But it's coming from my component. So now when I make changes to my component over here, I can come in and I could change just the color if I want, or a single color, and I can publish it, and all of my apps will automatically get those updates. And they won't need to come into the button, right, to actually make the change, because again, it's referencing app. Well, when it points at app is pointing at my component output property. So it all magically, if you're connecting those dots, just works. It just works. And hey, by the way, let's say I've got this other theme over here, the Warner Wonka, right? So we got an Oompa Loompa theme going on there. I kind of like the movie. I find Oompa Loompas awesome. And let's say I wanted to add that. You can have multiple themes. So if you wanted to include multiple themes in your component, if you had a couple different themes, so you didn't want to be like, hey, everybody, you can have any theme you want as long as it's black. Well, no, maybe you want to give them options. So you can do that. You can come back over to my theme. I'm going to do that. I'm going to add another custom property. I'm going to call it Warner Wonka. I'm going to set it to output. I'm going to set it to record. I'm going to hit create. I'm going to go here, open it up, and I'm going to paste in my Warner Wonka, format the text. So we see that here. Again, I'm just copying it off of a clipboard. These are all those same colors from that custom theme that I had set up in my app. I'm going to save and publish this, right? So it's publishing, we're good to go. I come back over to my app, I come here and I say check for component updates. So yes, great, awesome, got the update. I'm gonna hit update. And now, because I'm already using that component, all I need to do is come over to my app and access that component. So if I go theme engine 1 dot, now look what's showing up. Warner Wonka, both of them. So I can actually make a choice. You've got approved choices that brand is offering. I can make a choice as a user. So I feel like I've got a little bit more flexibility, perhaps, within my ecosystem, right? And when I hover over that, bam, getting that green, the Oompa Loompa feeling, super, super cool, right? And again, you can do multiple things, right? So if I needed to say, hey, I've got to update my About Us. So I'm going to come in here and say, yep, hey, there's a new modern theme. It's purple and orange. Why? Because nothing says modern like it's a high-tech sunset or a very confused lightsaber. But it's going to be consistent, right? So if you needed to give them information that something has updated, that About Us will then get also published over here. So if I were to just simply publish that, I'll come over here. I will go to my About Us screen. Ooh, that is bright. And I will come and I will refresh and hit update. And guess what? Bam, I didn't even have to change anything other than updating, and that got updated because the power of component libraries. So a lot of information here going on. Rewatch the video if you have to. I've got another custom video that I just created yesterday as part of this demo that I'll share on my own YouTube channel. This will go on to ours. Super excited. Reach out if you have any questions. I love components. Love, love, love them. I think they're super, super powerful. So what's next? Let's wrap this demo up, and then we can wrap up the call. So if you want to level up, what can we do? Well, I had mentioned last call that I would talk about modern themes. We just did. What's next? You can do things like iconography collections. You saw that I was able to multiple themes within that single component. Well, you can add multiple properties for other things that could be used within your organization, right? Super, super slick. Animation libraries. I'm super passionate about animation and how that can be used, not just gratuitously, but specifically for a very unique purpose, right? And then enhanced properties, which are experimental, we will talk about next time as well. So thank you, everybody, for everything that you are doing in the community. Again, let's go back to our presenters. So Shiv, Syed, thank you both for being amazing today. Wonderful demonstration, wonderful, and thank you for staying up late. It is late night for them, so we really appreciate all the contributions that you all make and our presenters. So what are some resources that are available to each and every one of you? We've got our Power Platform community, or we've got videos, samples, again, all the variety of communities that you can go interact with folks on that is run on the Power Platform, by the way. Now, we also have our other community calls. So we've got our Microsoft 365 Power Platform weekly call. This is every Tuesday with Microsoft speakers. So you're going to get directly from that horse's mouth. That's right. If you want to learn, definitely attend. This is the monthly Power Platform. We've got our Office add-ins. We've got our bi-weekly sibling calls. Tomorrow is the Microsoft 365 and Power Platform community call. So tune in there. And our Viva Connections and SharePoint Framework. You get access to all of these at aka.ms/community/calls. Get them onto your calendar. They are like a crystal ball into what's now, what's new, what's next. You will learn and value them, I promise. We've got our Discord server, so let the kids know how cool you are by joining that and communicate and collaborate with other members of the community in there. It is absolutely free. There's no cost to that or anything, and there's over 2,400 members of the community in that now. So it's super, super cool to be part of that. It's kind of one-stop shop because we cover a lot of different topics within a single space, so it's very, very cool. And let us know if you got any feedback. We want to make sure that this time and these sessions and calls are valuable for you. We'd love to know if we're doing things well and it's working for you. Even if things aren't or you got some constructive criticism, just please keep it positive. We want to make sure that everybody is being supported and appreciated. Well, guess what? The recording will be available in 24 hours or less on the Microsoft Community Learning YouTube channel. You might see in the Teams call that the video is ready for you to watch, but it is not. Teams is a pretty little liar. But you can access on X, formerly known as Twitter. You can look for updates on LinkedIn. We also have Blue Sky, community.ms. So our next call, February 19th, next month. We are excited for that. Get it on your calendar, ak.ms/Power Platform Community Call. Thank you all for attending today. You are amazing for all the passion and dedication you have to the community. Keep it up. We'll see you next time and or in the community. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.